The other day I made a video on proper crash cymbal usage in rock and pop standard beat settings. And I used the metaphor that the crashes are like water. You want to play them like water breaking. We say that a wave breaks and crashes. We say that expanding that to the other symbols, that you ride the wave when you're surfing. So think of your ride symbol as if you're surfing it, you're riding it. We can expand that to account for the other symbols as well, maybe not so much in the names that we give them, but if we think of our symbols like water and we use them to raise the energy or to indicate a peak in the energy of a particular part of the song, like maybe at the end of a verse, crashing into the chorus, we often get a little crash hit in right as we go into the chorus. We use the crashes to accent certain climaxes in the music. We use our timekeeping pieces like the ride and the hi-hats, and sometimes the crashes themselves, to manage the energy dynamics within the song. So we have to remain fluid. We have to remain dynamic. It's not enough to simply have good technique of being able to do one particular thing well. It's how we integrate that tool into music that's going to be of value ultimately, because we should be trying to be rock stars and play in a band with other people. And it's a collaborative effort. And I know it's difficult because musicians are the worst humans on earth, but they're also the most gorgeous in certain ways. And we are musicians as well. So we need to add something to the music as well as holding down the rhythm, the tempo, the beat. Really, as drummers, it's our job to manage the energy fluctuation within the music. We're the guys who give the others a cue about where we are in the song, where we're going next. We initiate transitions. So we have to be able to hold it down during a part, but also initiate a transition into a different kind of part. So I want to expand this water metaphor as broadly as I can and say that music is water. Music is fluid. It's never just one thing at any given point. We all hate the question, what style of music do you play? What kind of stuff are you into? I think a good musician, a truly creative mind, has a difficult time answering that question. For me, it's something like, I favor rock styles for the most part, but I love integrating all kinds of styles. Basically, I like one kind of music, and that's good music. Music that feels good to me, music that I can vibe with, music whose energy I can manage. The ups, the downs, the all-arounds, right? So there's no blueprint on how to play a crash cymbal. That's not really what I was getting at in that video that I made the other day, that there's one way or even just a handful of ways to play a crash cymbal in a rock or pop setting. But are we giving our fellow musicians and the audience who's listening to us that feel that we've got this and we know where this is going? And maybe you don't, but that's okay, because as the drummer, you can trust me. So we have to instill trust in our fellow musicians and in the audience listening to the music that we're making, that we're playing, that we got this. That wherever the music goes next, we can ride that wave. Let everyone else know what's going on. So it's not that you're going, again, into very abrupt transitional pieces like verse, chorus. Maybe the music calls for that, and that's just fine. And that's when we have to remember knowing the song and becoming one with the energy that the song has to exude in order to be the best that it can be. That's our job. But maybe more of a gradual build-up is appropriate. See the difference there? That you're building anticipation about what's coming next. That you are providing with your non-melodic array of instruments. There might be beauty and particular tone to the cymbals, to the drums, but we don't work with melodies. We work with structure. And every piece of the drum set is meant to provide some aura of structure to the music. We are the container of the water. Okay? We're the container. We are the walls and the floor of the container. We hold it all together so that the water has a space within which, the water being the music on the whole, a space in which it can flow and move and break and become calm and operate in the way that it's meant to. It's also why it's so important for us to be listening to everyone else all the time. You know, as the drummer, you're in the back and kind of observing everything, right? We sit behind everyone for a reason, including the audience. The audience may be facing us, but we're looking out and we can see all of them. So we are the arbiters of change regarding the energy. If we're not in some way responding to all that's out there, then we're not doing our job either. And that requires us to listen. And listening is more of a right brain type thing, which is why technique isn't everything, right? You can be very solid in your technique, but technique is only a tool that allows you to do what you creatively want to more efficiently. It's not everything. You know, you can have sloppy technique and be better at instigating the changes that are required in the music because you have feel. All right, so technique is important to a degree, but feel is essential. It's necessary for, I'm not talking about mechanically playing drums, but I mean to be a good drummer. Where do I feel that this is going? Have I taken the cues from the other musicians? Am I responding to them and giving a container for what's to come next, even if they don't really know where they're headed? All right, that's our responsibility, as abstract as it may sound. And that's why drumming is one of the more difficult jobs in the band. We may not be the front and center performer in the band, And if you are, more power to you. Maybe your band is set up that way. Maybe you're Zach Hill or something, you know? But we're meant to hold it all together, including for those who are more front and center. Everybody notices when the drummer isn't doing his job. Right? When he is, sometimes people don't notice at all. And that's fine, because the music itself is what's important at the end of the day. And then other people might take notice if you're doing a little more than the bare minimum. And they might compliment you on it, and that's beautiful as well. But you first want to be invisible, and that's because you're naturally responding to everything in the room. And you're providing a container for all of that. Because you have more than just mere technique, you have feel for all of those things and the dynamics that they're taking. So it's just a little philosophical, metaphorical thought about music being water and what our role is behind the drum set in not just holding it down, but providing a container and directing and initiating the change that is needed to make music the spiritually enhancing art form that it is. So hope you enjoyed this video. Plenty more to come. See you in the next one. Cheers.